Good morning, Forest Oak. Today is Wednesday, January 18th. I'm Bella.
And I'm Monica for the award-winning Good Morning Forest Oak on WFOM TV.
Activity buses will run today.
After-school activities today are Identity Room in E124, ESL Room in B125, basketball practice in the gym, Aladdin rehearsal in the cafeteria.
GMFO in the Media Center, Environmental Club in the Media Center, Extended Day Math 6 in Room D207, Extended Day Math 8 in Room E229, and Extended Day Reading 7/8 in Room E208.
The girls' basketball team lost another tough game to an excellent Redland team. The girls showed better effort to the second half of the game and picked it up on the defense end. If you see them in the hallway, give them a shout out for their final game next Wednesday against Montgomery Village.
The boys' basketball team won their third straight game yesterday against Redland, 56-47. The win improves the team's season record to 4 wins and 1 loss. The team was again led offensively by Jao Ituka with 25 points and Cordell Lewis with 16 points. Chris McDonald caught fire in the third quarter, scoring a season-high 9 points and preventing Redland from making a run. Defensively, the team got excellent contributions from Travis Graham-Bailey and Tyrell Williams, who grabbed key rebounds and controlled the glass. The boys will finish their season at home next Wednesday against Montgomery Village. Everyone is encouraged to come out and make a lot of noise to give the team a true home court advantage.
Looking for something fun to do after school? Join the GYC.
The Peace Day count for today stands at 22 Peace Days for the 6th grade, 17 Peace Days for the 7th grade, and 9 Peace Days for the 8th grade. Keep it peaceful, Forest Oak.
Our ESOL students will be taking the WIDA Access test throughout January and part of February. Here's the daily post of those students who will need to report for testing right after Cougar time. Please review the names and make sure to remind the students to go to the Media Center for first period. Thank you very much for your support for our ESOL students.
Students and staff. The Media Center is closed at Cougar time today for Book Wars. Book Wars will meet in the Media Center after GMFO.
As previously announced, looking for something fun to do? Check out the first MoCo ComCon, the Silver Spring Library, on January 21st. There will be an author and illustrator panels, workshops, and cosplay contests. See the MCPL website for more information.
Here's Mr. Smith with some information.
Good morning, Forest Oak. I have a couple of announcements this morning. First, if this is your tie, see me, I'd like to give it back to you. Second, for the PTA, I have in my hand here some box tops that were given to my homeroom. As soon as I leave here, I'm going to walk across the hall and put them in the PTA mailbox. So for the PTA, if you're watching or hear this, these are going to my homeroom. They should count to my homeroom. If you have box tops, you should get them into your homeroom as well, so that hopefully you can try to win that prize. If you have student service learning hour forms you have completed, please get them turned in so you can get credit for your hours. You need 75 hours to graduate. Obviously, you are better off if you get more hours than that. Those forms I have those forms. You can print them off yourself. They can be found in the main office. If you go to montgomeryserves.org, you can search for places to volunteer, go volunteer, fill the form in, or fill the form out, get it turned in so you can get hours. Please make sure you're volunteering with pre-approved service organizations. Just makes everybody's life easier. If you are looking for opportunities to get student service learning hours, we will be having Diversity Night. It's coming up towards the end of April on Friday, April 28th. If you are interested in that, either as a participant coming and sharing about your culture or in helping to set up, please see me and I will get you coordinated with what you will need to do in order to get some of those hours. I believe the start time will be 6:30. I know it's a long way off, but it'll be here before too long. I have also been asked to talk about the presidential inauguration. Tomorrow, you will not have school, as it will be the inauguration day. And a couple of things about the inauguration, if you do not know what that is where the president-elect of our country will be officially sworn in to begin their term. One of the wonderful things about our country is that every 4 years we have the peaceful transfer of power. So whether you like presidents who have been elected or not, we have this system where we peacefully transfer from one set of leaders to another every 4 years, and that's really what makes our country so wonderful, is that we can have that diversity and have those differences peacefully. A couple of sort of factual things you may not know. The first inauguration was obviously George Washington. He was inaugurated on April 30th, 1789. Subsequent inaugurations were held in March. However, in 1933, Congress passed an amendment, the 20th Amendment of the United States, which said the inauguration had to be held on January the 20th. I guess they were just preparing for global warming or something by moving it up to a cooler date. The inauguration happens officially at noon, and usually the vice president is sworn in first, and then the president is sworn in after that. There is normally some music. Hail to the Chief is the official song you probably know. I won't sing it for you. And normally that's followed by a 21-gun salute. Typically, there is a luncheon that will take place for the new president and any of his guests, and then they walk from the Capitol building, which is where that ceremony takes place, a couple of blocks down to the White House in a public parade. Every president normally takes that oath in Washington, D.C. However, there have been 6 times that has not happened. George Washington actually didn't, and neither did the subsequent President John Adams, because Washington, D.C. was not yet the capital of our country yet. Other presidents have had to take that oath of office in other cities, like Theodore Roosevelt, and had to take it in Buffalo, New York, or Calvin Coolidge in a place called Plymouth, Vermont. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. Or Lyndon B. Johnson had to take that oath in Dallas. In some cases, those presidents had to take that oath, that inauguration, because they were taking over for a president who had passed away. So there wasn't necessarily the same official ceremony. Most presidents, in fact all presidents, take that oath with their hand on the Bible, and they are allowed to choose a particular passage or open to a verse that they are interested in. The only one not to have done that was Theodore Roosevelt. Interestingly, to my knowledge, no 2 presidents have ever chosen the same verse or scripture to open that Bible to. I do not know what tomorrow President-elect Trump will have his Bible open to, so that'll be something I guess we can all find out. The shortest inaugural address, because most presidents give some type of speech afterwards to address the nation, was actually George Washington. In 1793, he gave a speech that was only 135 words. I guess he's laying the groundwork for President-elect Trump to tweet his speech out tomorrow, if that would still fit in there. On the flip side, the longest presidential inaugural address, which kind of has a sad ending, was William Henry Harrison, who gave an address that lasted over an hour and a half, and it was 8,445 words in 1941. And apparently it was a very cold day. He didn't have a hat, and he was out there so long he caught pneumonia and died just 2 months later. Let that be a lesson to every teacher who ever says you need to write more. That's not necessarily always the case, I guess. Let's see, President Jefferson, the 3rd president, he was the first to be inaugurated at the U.S. Capitol, and he was also the first to, and only president to have walked both there and back. And he's quoted as saying, "If you think DC parking is hard today, try parking your horse in 1803. That's not an actual quote, I made that up, but he walked there. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Anyway, in 1809, James Madison held the first inaugural ball, but apparently women were not invited to the inaugural ball until Calvin Coolidge in 1929. So I don't know what they did there, if it was just a bunch of men standing around. But anyway, James Buchanan in 1857 was the first president to be photographed at his inauguration. William McKinley in 1897 was the first to have his inauguration video recorded. In 1809, William Taft was the first to have his wife accompany him. Let's see. President Harding in 1921 was the first to ride in an automobile. So up to that point, no one else had. Harry Truman's inauguration in 1948 was the first that was televised, and Bill Clinton was the first to have his inauguration broadcast via the internet. I wasn't invited to any of those, by the way, not that I'm still bitter. President Lincoln was the first president in 1865 to include African Americans in his inauguration ceremony. And finally, probably the most interesting inaugural fact I could find is that John Quincy Adams in 1825 was the first president to break a long tradition by wearing long pants at his inauguration. That apparently ended the tradition of presidents wearing knee breeches. So I still have 3 pairs of knee breeches, presidential knee breeches in my closet. I'm hoping to break them out when they come back in style, if that ever happens. So tomorrow at noon, President-elect Trump and Vice President-elect Pence will take their oath. They will swear their oath, and they will become our new presidents in the peaceful transfer of power and begin the process of being president and vice president. And we have that ceremony to mark that official transfer of power, which is, again, one of the things that makes our country so great, that we can do that without, and people may both go and publicly support or publicly protest, and all of that can be done in peaceful ways, people demonstrating, using their First Amendment rights to voice their opinions, while at the same time allowing our government to function and serve people. So that is everything I have for you this morning, a little bit long, but hopefully you learned something. And we will go back to Bella, who doesn't have a Roy Prize drawing for you apparently this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Happy belated birthday to Adriana from Jasmine, Saley, and Chance. From AccuWeather.com, the sunrise today occurred at 7:25 a.m. Today's weather will be partly cloudy with a high temperature of 54 degrees. The sunset will occur at 5:15 a.m. The weather will be partly cloudy with a low temperature of 35 degrees. That's all for today's edition of Good Morning Forest Oak. Please check your classroom clock. The correct time is 8:26. I'm Bella for Monica. Have a thunderous Thursday.